Who's running for president? Click here for News Pulse News 2020 Tracker. I see a country in quicksand, unable to solve problems and threats from abroad, unable to make life better for people here at home, Swalwell said. I'm ready to solve these problems. I'm running for President of the United States. Boy, did it feel good to say that, he added. Swalwell became the 18th candidate to enter the race on the Democratic side, making it the largest field of presidential candidates for a major party's presidential nomination ever. In 2016, the Republican primary had 17 candidates. And the GOP didn't reach that number until August 2015, when former Virginia Governor Jim Gilmore jumped into the race. At this point in 2015, just two candidates, Senator Ted Cruz and Hillary Clinton, had announced presidential bids. Today is the 4-year anniversary of Clinton's 2016 announcement. The eventual winner, Donald J. Trump, did not announce until June 16, 2015, when he took the escalator ride to the lobby of Trump Tower. The 2020 Democratic field is likely to grow even more. Former Vice President Joe Biden is expected to join the race later this month, while former Virginia Governor Terry McAuliffe, former Georgia gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams, Senator Michael Bennet, DiColo, Montana Governor Steve Bullock and New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio continue to mull bids of their own. Also worth remembering, while the field for the 2016 Republican primary was crowded, it thinned out before a single vote was cast. 5 candidates, Rick Perry, Scott Walker, Bobby Jindal, Lindsey Graham and George Pataki, dropped out of the race before the Iowa caucuses. Reminder, the first Democratic debate of the 2020 cycle will be held over 2 nights on June 26 and June 27 in Miami. In these debates we're not going to be talking about hand size, we're going to be talking about health care. Tom Perez, chairman of the Democratic National Committee, on CNN. With March coming to a close, most of the 2020 candidates have released their first quarter fundraising totals. Some of the numbers are not surprising. Senator Bernie Sanders, I, Vermont, bringing $18.2 million, Senator Kamala Harris, D, California, totaling $12 million, but one number did impress, South Bend, Industry, Mayor Pete Buttigieg, who reported $7 million in donations. That number trails former Representative Beto O'Rourke, $9.4 million, but top sitting Senators Elizabeth Warren, $6 million, Amy Klobuchar, $5.2 million, and Cory Booker, $5 million. Buttigieg also has found some success in a pair of new polls, finishing third in surveys of both Iowa and New Hampshire. According to a poll by the St. Anselm College Survey Center at the New Hampshire Institute of Politics, Buttigieg has seen a 33 percentage point increase in Indiana name recognition since February. One of the reasons for that bump is undoubtedly his sharp criticism of Vice President Mike Pence. If me being gay was a choice, it was a choice that was made far, far above my pay grade, Buttigieg said in a speech Sunday. And that's the thing I wish the Mike Pences of the world would understand. That if you got a problem with who I am, your problem is not with me. Your quarrel, sir, is with my creator. Pence responded in an interview with CNN Thursday. I think Pete's quarrel is with the First Amendment, Pence said. All of us in this country have the right to our religious beliefs. I'm not critical of his faith, I'm critical of bad policies. I don't have a problem with religion. I'm religious, too. I have a problem with religion being used as a justification to harm people, and especially in the LGBTQ community. Pete Buttigieg on The Ellen DeGeneres Show Friday. A Politico/Morning Consult poll released Wednesday found half of Democrats saying the allegations made no difference in their vote, while 29% said they made them less likely to support him. Biden currently leads in nearly every Democratic primary poll and has intimated he will officially announce his run soon. Just in, the Bernie Sanders campaign announced Friday that it has received more than 1 million donations since he launched his second presidential bid on February 19. Warren singled out Amazon, which paid no federal income taxes in 2018 on profits of $11.2 billion. The Massachusetts senator noted that under her plan, Amazon would pay $698 million in taxes instead of paying zero. Amazon responded to Warren's post with a statement saying the company pays all the taxes we are required to pay in the U.S. and every country where we operate, and noting its American business investments as well as the 250,000 workers it employs here. Warren was unimpressed. She responded with a tweet that acknowledged she wasn't accusing Amazon of illegality. Her point was precisely the fact that their legal tax liability was zero. "Yeah, I know," she tweeted. "You made more than $10 billion in profits last year and you were required to pay $0 in federal corporate taxes. That's the problem. I wrote a best-selling book. If you write a best-selling book, you can be a millionaire, too." Bernie Sanders, who is about to release tax returns that will show he is a millionaire, to the New York Times on his newfound riches. Bernie Sanders also introduced a major policy initiative this week, announcing the Medicare for All Act of 2019. Sanders' universal health care proposal would get rid of the private insurance system, eliminating the need for employers to provide insurance for their workers. Newspulse Finance previously reported that a Sanders-style plan would boost federal health care spending from $1.1 trillion per year to $3.5 trillion per year, and require big tax hikes to fund it. Individuals who now buy their own insurance and companies that provide it to their employees would see savings that, depending on individual circumstances, would offset some or all of those taxes. Sanders' bill was co-sponsored by several of his 2020 Democratic rivals in the Senate, including Cory Booker, Kirsten Gillibrand, Kamala Harris, and Elizabeth Warren. And it was immediately mocked by the Trump White House. Self-proclaimed socialist Senator Bernie Sanders is proposing a total government takeover of health care that would actually hurt seniors, eliminate private health insurance for 180 million Americans, and cripple our economy and future generations with unprecedented debt, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said in a statement. Americans deserve relief from the empty promises of Obamacare. The Trump administration is working on realistic solutions to provide Americans with the options and control they want, the affordability they need, the ease they expect, and the quality they deserve, rather than forcing a government takeover of the health care system. We will protect people with pre-existing conditions, lower prices for care and prescription drugs even further, end surprise medical bills, and make sure Americans get the absolute best quality of care. The Sanders campaign responded in kind. Donald Trump, who used to express his admiration for single-payer health care, has decided to put out statements that do the bidding of the largest insurance and pharmaceutical companies. Faiz Shakir, Sanders' campaign manager, said in a statement. This campaign's message to Trump is simple: we welcome this fight because we are going to defeat you in the election and guarantee health care as a right to all people. Our troops deserve a commander-in-chief who fights for them as fiercely as they fight for this country. President Trump's transgender military ban, taking effect today, proves he fails that standard. As president, I will end this. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, DNY, one of many Democratic presidential candidates to condemn the new policy, but for those who saw it, the 2-minute spot highlighted what could become a problem for Trump's re-election. At least at this stage of the campaign, it doesn't have a villain to focus on. At his Make America Great Again rallies, Trump likes to point out how he vanquished 16 Republicans in the 2016 primary before taking on Clinton and the fake news media in the general election. But Trump probably won't have a serious challenger until the 2020 Democratic Convention, still more than 15 months away. Former Massachusetts Governor William Weld may announce a Republican primary run, focusing on climate change issues, sometime this month. Bernie Sanders is holding weekend rallies in Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, 3 states that flipped and voted for Donald Trump in 2016. He will also make additional stops in Indiana and Ohio. 4 candidates will be in Iowa this weekend: Washington Governor Jay Inslee, Senator Amy Klobuchar, Des Moines, former Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper and former Secretary of the Department of Housing and Urban Development Julian Castro, making his third trip to the first-in-the-nation caucus state since announcing his candidacy in January. CNN is hosting presidential town halls on Sunday night with a pair of lesser-known Democratic candidates, self-help author Marianne Williamson at 7 p.m. ET and business executive Andrew Yang at 8 p.m. ET. Manchester, NH Source, Weather Underground. Read more 2020 coverage from News Pulse News.